Welcome to Sairam Online Learning Center. This is second part of Open Book Examination and Assessment Tool. So in the first part we have seen the first 10 points of this agenda. Now let's move on to the second part of Open Book Examination in Teacher's Perspective and its preparation tips and preparing for an online open book examinations and references. And in part 3, we will see some sample questions for engineering subjects for this open book examination. Now let's move on. Open book examination at teacher's perspective. How to design a good open book examination assessment. The first point is that with necessary informations available in the syllabus, we need to frame the questions. So set the questions that require students to do things with the informations that are available. Second one is ask straightforward questions and let the questions be clear for the students to understand. In case if the open book examination is of offline and classroom open book examination, then we need to have a bigger venue for this open book examinations because students needed to have a larger desk for examinations. Finally, ensure that we students will have enough time to complete the exam before setting the questions. The major thing is the marking criteria is the most important thing. What are the factors to be considered? Like we want to define the comprehensive skills, synthesize and application skills of the students, and how could you mark the performance, whether it is excellent, proficient, average or poor. So the performance falls in any of these cases. So in case if you are given a comprehensive question, how can you measure the performance of the student? This can be given by this chart. So comprehensive, if it needs to be an excellent, proficient or average or poor performance, then for excellent performance, demonstrated complete knowledge of the concepts or principles. For proficient, reflected most of the knowledge or main concepts. Average, it showed a partial knowledge of some points of the principles and concepts. Poor means minimal knowledge of some points of the concepts and principle. Along with that, in case of excellent, it showed a thorough and excellent understanding in interpretation of the content. And for proficient, it showed a good understanding in interpretation of the content. And for average, it showed a basic understanding in the interpretation of the content. And for poor, it showed a poor understanding in the interpretation of the content. Likewise, we can define whether the performance falls in excellent category or proficient or average or poor category. If you have designed a question that needs to synthesize from the topics within the syllabus, then following methodology can be applied to measure the student's performance, like excellent, proficient, average and poor. So excellent ability to look at an issue from different dimensions and they have generated innovative ideas, it falls under the excellent category. And showed a good ability to investigate an issue from various dimensions, and if the student has attempted to generate the ideas, then you can define as proficient. And fair ability to look at an issue from different dimension and mostly all these ideas are based on the resources from the book, then we can give it as an average. And very limited ability to investigate an issue, then it can be called as the poor performance. Next, one of the higher level of Bloom's taxonomy as applying a concept or the information learned, then we can classify the performance as excellent, proficient, average and poor based on this chart. So considerations, so the points that is to be considered when we want to set the questions for the open book examinations. So questions will always be interpretation and application of knowledge, comprehensive skills, assessing the critical thinking skills of the students. So we will make use of case-based exam questions that require students to apply critical reasoning skills when in response to a trigger scenario. So we want to have a clear and unambiguous questions and questions that require students to apply and make use of the information rather than simply rewriting the information. And we want to keep it in mind all the learning outcomes and what are the skills and knowledge we are going to assess the student. Some more example ways include, we want to have the questions like problem based scenarios or real world cases requiring students to apply their skills and knowledge to the given problem or scenario. And for all those, we want to give all the necessary background informations on the given topic or area of study, and want to test the ability of an applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating, and synthesize. So when designing questions to probe student and understanding skills and knowledge, the Socratic questions are useful for reflective levels of stages of learning may be useful. So Socratic questioning, it is a form of disciplined questioning that can be used to pursue thought in many directions and purposes. Like Socratic questions can be used to explore complex ideas, to get the truth from the things, to open up issues and problems, to uncover the assumptions, and to analyze the concepts. Hence, what are the types of Socratic questions, classifications of those Socratic questions, and example questions and starters are given here. So you can have the clarification questions, assumption questions, reason and evidence question, origin and source questions, implications and consequence questions, and we can have finally the viewpoint questions. So these various Socratic questioning types are discussed for setting up the question papers for open book examination. As these open book examinations have high level of learning, this should be linked with the Bloom's taxonomy. Hence, this chart depicts this Bloom's taxonomy and type and level of questions, what are the students are asked to do, and example questions and starters. So we have a 6 broad Bloom's taxonomy level. Level 1 knowing and remembering, level 2 understanding, level 3 applying, level 4 analyzing, level 5 evaluating, and level 6 creating. So in this I have bolded a level 3, 4, 5 and 6, which means that open book examination majorly concentrates on higher level of learning, that is focuses on applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating levels of Bloom's taxonomy, and in some cases it focuses on deep level of understanding also. So you can go through this. Open book exam test preparation. So more simple steps to handle the open book examinations for students. Preparation is the key. Yes, we want to test your understanding of the subject matter. Hence, we need to have a perfect preparation. Open book test can be more challenging than any other test. So we must have an adequate preparation. Don't place too much emphasis on reference material because it is a timed exam. So when we compare to the closed book exam, open book exam will always have a shortened time period for completing the exam. So don't expect to have time to review your notes, reread your textbooks or discover new information during open book exam because it won't work. So greatly benefit by writing down the important facts and informations on the separate sheet of paper, and you can use it as a hints for referring during the examination time. Third point is organize your reference material. There is a words, more is not always better. Sometimes it's just more. This applies here for open book examination. Taking extensive notes, books and other reference materials will be rarely beneficial, and it's sure that it will hinder the performance. So all the reference materials to be organized perfectly and used to have a create outline of your reference material is always needed. Familiarize yourself with a key concept before the open book test, because you can't familiarize the concepts during the open book examination. There is no time for doing that. Don't plagiarize. Never copy information directly from the book. Teachers will concentrate what their students have learned and not whether they are able to locate the information in the book. Be clear with this point. Manage your time effectively. Time management is important concept. So offset of the test review how many questions there are and determine how much time you can spend in each questions. So don't over answer question. Be concise, accurate and yet thorough, and that will make us to score higher in the case of open book examination. Then how to apply all these concepts what we have learned for preparing this open book examination in the case of online mode of open book examination. So the first step is mentally prepare for the new exam format. We'll discuss what are the challenges, key to success and steps to prepare and tips for overcoming or writing this online open book examination successfully. So the 4 challenges of online open book examination. Please note this. This online open book examination offer an opportunity to look through the notes during the test. Yes, it reduces our stress. Second point, even though it reduces the stress, the second check is on, still we have time limits for this online open book examination. So this exam always focus on synthesizing, analyzing and applying rather than memorizing. And this online open book examination is more tempting not to study for an open book exam, and this is one of the major concepts for resulting in unsuccessful exams. So they should not be done. These are the 4 major challenges. So to the keys to success, as usual, the 4 key points to success: knowledge, a solid understanding of the course content; system, organized notes and systematic way to find the content quickly; structure, plan for completing the exam within the time limit and commit to that plan; academic integrity, make sure your work is your own, otherwise it is not your success. Please remember these 4 keys to success to get success in online open book examination: knowledge, systems, structure, academic integrity. So this academic integrity is something new to us, so protect your academic integrity. So ensure that all you submit for credit must be individual, and want to understand what are the materials that are accessed and that are permitted to be used in the examination, and what are the things that are not permitted. In some cases, social media apps, messaging platforms, web browsers will not be permitted. Ensure that what your university permits you, what are the things that university permits you to take during the examination time. So take note of all the examination instruction in advance of the exam date, and if necessary ask for clarification on permitted materials. Steps to prepare for open book examination: understand the expectations, review the course objectives and themes, prepare the study notes, practice, make a system. Yes, understand the expectation. Clearly understand the exam framework. When you will have access to the exam. How much time you will have to write the exam. Do you need to complete the exam in one chunk, or you can take a break and come back later? What types of questions will be on the exams? Whether you can have multiple choice questions, short answers, synthesis and application parts. What materials you are allowed to consult of all the course materials, Google and outside research articles. Whether you will be asked for any clarification, how you can ask the clarification once you started your exam. So do you need in text citations and references of the pages for your exam? If so, we want to give it. So I want to understand all those expectations of the universities. Review the course objectives and themes. So be sure that for a particular subject you are going to prepare, ensure that you are well prepared or well aware of the objective of the subject. What is the objective? Because the questions will be majorly focused to satisfy the objectives of the subject, and whether the outcomes are always satisfied. So in such a way we don't need to have the preparations. What are the course objectives? What would we know at the end of the course? What are the major themes or topics of the course? How is a course how is a course organized? And can you sum up the main ideas or guiding principles of the course? And we want to take note of the objective themes and readings of all those entire course once you get prepared for your examination. Prepare study notes. So preparing study notes is one of the biggest a skill we want to develop for this open book examination. Preparing study notes is not that you want to write all those in the form of a sentence or in the form of a hints how you can understand. And you can also prepare the notes in the sample column heading for using study charts like this. So this will be one of the easy method for you to understand, and also one of the easy way to concise and large information in the form of a pictorial representation, which is easy to retrieve during the examination time. So this is an example of engineering design process. You can have in the form of tree diagram as an example, and you can have in the form of mind map for remembering all those concepts and linking the one topic with the other topic. And when you want to prepare all these charts, all these tree diagram, mind map diagram, please ensure that whether you want to prepare all these in a paper or in a digital format of your notes. At this point also, please check it off whether you will be allowed to open any digital content during the examination time. If so, then you can prepare by digital, else you can go for paper method of proceeding your preparation of notes. So step 4 is practice. So effective studying goes beyond just reading through your notes. Anticipate potential questions and then test yourself by writing answers to those questions. Try teaching a course theory, explaining a course theme, or showing how to do a sample problem to someone else. Yes, practice makes things perfect. Practicing for open book examination is a major point for success of the open book examinations in students' perspective. Try Professor Smith-Chant SPEW method at a single person evaluation worksheet, which means that use the list of key terms in a chapter or table of content to create a short list of relevant concept. Fix the time of 2 to 5 minutes and free write anything that you know about that concept. When you are finished, check the responses and make a note of any ideas or concepts for which you could not provide a complete response or enough details. Review those concepts and repeat this SPEW method once again to come back to the point. So thus practicing is much more important for this open book examination. Make a system. Yes. You should ensure that a system is placed for finding the information you need quickly. Set up your test writing space, make a chart or table of content, color code your charts and notes, and most important pages can be marked, and it can be used like sticky notes or highlighters can be used. If you are using digital notes, make use of highlighted tool or insert commands in the key area, so it will be able to retrieve the important facts within a limited time during the examination period. Final important tips for the test time is that how we are going to manage the time. So whatever we have prepared, how far we have put our effort is much more important, but more than that, how you are going to engage that 1.5 hours or 1 hours of test time is much important. So timing is the most important component. So plan the time you have per question based on grading or weighting. Understand if it is MCQ type or if it is 2 marks and comprehensive type of questions. For each questions, try to allocate a time period and complete within the stipulated time period. So for questions you're not sure about, may take time to refer your notes. Use your study charts or table of content to find the relevant content for the questions quickly. So for free response question, write full or complete answers with appropriate details to demonstrate your understanding of the course concepts. So these are the tips for the test time, and these are the references I have referred. Thank you for watching, and in part 3 we will see some sample open book examination questions for engineering subjects. Thank you.